Welcome, 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 my creatives. Welcome to a Cuppa Creativity in the Literary Lounge, the place where writing doesn't have to suck. I am your host, Kynda Faythe. I am a teacher and the founder of Faythe Publishing, Inc. And today, I actually want to share one of my favorite writing exercises. I would like to discuss using art. I love me some artwork. So I kind of want to discuss using artwork or art pieces as an inspiration for poetry. I'm going to focus today on poetry, but you can use this as kind of inspiration for a short story, even oh my gosh, you could use it for longer pieces. Have at it. I'm never going to tell you not to write, but today I'm going to focus on poetry, and then I'm going to give you I'm going to share my journey with you because I thought this was super cool. If you didn't know, I love artwork. I don't know anything about artwork. I mean, I live vicariously through my children. They both went to art school, so I think I know what I'm talking about. I don't. I just know what I like, and I don't know. I get inspired by that. So I did a couple of exercises. So besides liking art, I also am a documentary junkie, and yeah, so I ended up using a documentary, and then I used it as a writing exercise, and then I kind of went from there. So today I'm going to talk about art pieces. I'm going to read some, I'm going to show you the art pieces, and then I'm going to give you some examples, and then I'm going to end the episode with giving you a challenge of yourself. I don't know, I think it's going to be super cool. But before I go on, I need to go do a couple shout outs. The first one is Zoe H. She is my book cover design. If you see on the screen right now, oh my gosh, she did the most beautiful cover for Cosmic Memphis. I love this cover. Raylena H, sorry. She is my illustrator, and honestly, she keeps me together. She makes sure that I have my coffee, and she makes sure that my desk is together, and she does great illustrations. Her children's books are amazing. Cole Ebert, he is one of my social media people, and I love that I don't know, he keeps me calm. Are you seeing a pattern here? Allison Mercado, she is like this interview extraordinaire, and I love that she just comes in, she's like, hey, and we just keep on, I don't know, getting together, and we brainstorm. I don't have a picture of her yet. That's in the mood. And of course, my little picture of my fuzzy little fur baby. If you can hear her in the background, it's because she's chasing her tail right now. She's being super productive. Is Jean Louise, my cat mascot. I need her today. So it is a snow day. I am not going outside, and I am staying indoors in my little she cave, surrounded by books and my furry friend. So those are my shout outs. And my other shout out obviously is my passion project, which is Faythe Publishing, Inc. And you're like, what is that? Well, let me tell you, we are, and I say we, this is not just me. It's a village. It is a culture. I'd like to say cult, we don't have like the secret handshake or like the secret word or anything. It's getting there, right? We are actually a nonprofit publishing company, and we strive to serve underrepresented voices, which honestly could be anybody, but we strive to serve these voices through publication, through writing programs, through internships, through services. Excuse me. And our programs are not just writing. Obviously we want to help our writers get our stories out there. We help with editing, we help with proofreading, but we also help preserve stories. So earlier I mentioned I have like an interviewing goddess. We actually go around and we're interviewing, immigrants. We want to know their stories. Are you stuck between cultures? Are you trying to assimilate? We want to gather stories of people and their families, family folklore of people who are suffering from dementia. We want to know about small towns because small towns, especially in Kansas, are disappearing, and we want to collect all those. We, oh my gosh, we have a program called Global Narratives, which I'm really excited about because guess what? We write in different languages. Actually, today, this morning, I focused on helping a student, actually a previous student, write her poetry. She has a poem or a book that's in Portuguese and in English, which is so cool. It's super, super cool. So we have different languages. We have different job interview or different job opportunities. We have internship opportunities. It's not just about writing. It's about this whole culture that is surrounded by publication. You know, it's about book cover designs. It's about social media. It's about making connections. It's about just making our stories and collecting our stories. And so that's kind of, I don't know, our big thing, I guess, which is funny. My students know I don't like the word thing. So my thing is it's a grr word. Here is my spiel. Our hashtag is supporting the writing journey. And the reason I say that, it's not just writing, as I said before. It is all encompassing, right? The whole creative process is a journey. So together, as in the book cover designs, the storytellers, everybody together, we together collectively are the audience. Collectively, we are the storytellers. And then as we go on, we become the legacy. So what kind of ends up matters is that every single talent matters. Every single one. It doesn't matter. It matters that the storytellers matter. It matters that the book cover designs, the artists matter, the social medias matter. Every single type of talent matters. Every single voice that goes into that matters. And then thus every story matters and deserves to be told. And with that, we get to be inspired and we inspire others. Come on, that's super, super cool. Probably not the most well said, and this is what happens when I'm stuck at home talking to a cat all day, right? All right, so before I go on, let us do the mantra because I'm sure Jean needs it. She's just sort of looking out the window, chasing her tail like, yeah, Kynda, we totally need the mantra, right? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, all right, my lovelies, are you ready? Put your hand on your heart. Cough, cough, cough. Are you ready? Yes. All right. Today, I will face fear. Today, I will be brave. Today, I will struggle. Today, I will grow. Today, I will get through this. Huzzah! Jazz hands! Woo! Jazz hands! Don't you feel better when you say that? I always do. I know, my students and everyone, I've said this for years, and they all think I'm cheesy. I don't care. It just makes me feel better. I even think, no, Jean's still looking at her tail. It just makes me feel better. What also makes me feel better is looking at artwork. And like I said before, I am not trained in artwork. What I am trained in is reaction. Let me just let that pause. Let me just let that sink in for a minute. I think I like reaction. It doesn't matter what type of reaction. I just want a reaction. So how I started this journey is I love documentaries and I'm flipping through PBS because that is, oh my gosh, that is my go-to, PBS documentaries. And I was watching something on Andrew Wyeth. I don't know anything about Andrew Wyeth at all until they started showing some of his paintings. I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, I know who this guy is. And for those of you who don't know who this person is, Andrew Wyeth was an American painter from Pennsylvania, and he was known for his realism. His depictions are so realistic, and his details are so precise. I mean, they look like photographs. They are insane. And I knew some of the things. Now, what I didn't know is that he stayed local. He didn't travel. He only painted like his neighbors, his area. He did not go out. That's all he did was just paint what he knew. And I found that kind of amazing. So what I ended up doing is a couple of years ago, I took some of his paintings. I just looked online, and I didn't tell my students the backstory of the paintings, right? I didn't tell them who the paintings were. I didn't tell them, what the pose was. I didn't tell them anything. And then I just let them write. I just let them go, which was really, really cool. And I was so impressed by the turnout. And so I kind of started with that. And so the first three examples that I have for you is actually from my first little experiment. Now, if you can see on my little slide here, I have a bunch of little weird things. And I tried to kind of, as I went on throughout the years, I kind of switched it up a little. I have, instead of just Andrew Wyeth paintings, I have some other famous paintings. I have Pulitzer Prize winning photography. I love graffiti art. Oh my gosh, I love graffiti art. I probably need to, include animation or like animated stuff, especially since that's what my kids draw. I don't know. I think that would be super cool. So I have paintings, I have sculptures, I have really well-known like pop culture things. So my very first painting that I started with is Andrew Wyeth's Christina's World. Now the backstory is now I always thought, looking at this, I mean, it's super famous. I mean, I don't know anything about anything. I always thought that the woman, I don't know, like she had a long lost lover, or maybe they had a picnic and the woman the man left her, and it's like a windswept whatever. It seems like a very romantic situation, and that was so not the case. Actually, Christina's World, the woman, I believe, had some kind of a degenerative muscle condition, maybe polio. Don't quote me on this. She did not walk, and I don't believe the house had running water. Right? They didn't have plumbing, and she didn't walk. And so she had like the same cruddy old dress, which of course you can't tell in the painting. And she literally drug herself all over their farm. That completely changes my perspective on things. Obviously, excuse me, I did not tell my students this until after the fact. Now, the example that I have from you is from a student past I've had him like years ago, from Michael Heinzman, that I'm just going to read to you. So I just want you to kind of just focus on this picture. And he called his poem Solitude Silence, which I just thought was really interesting. You can look at a piece of artwork and you can look at things from a different perspective, right? Okay. In the field of golden wheat she lays, Christina, alone in the sun's warm embrace, a world of whispers, a realm of dreams where solitude reigns, or so it seems. Her gaze wanders far to distant lands, to the vast expanse where time stands. In quiet contemplation she finds her peace amidst the rustling grass, a gentle release. A farmhouse stands, a silent sentinel, a refuge from the world that start where the heart dwells. But Christina's world extends beyond these walls, to the horizon's edge where her spirit calls. The wind whispers secrets in a hushed tone, and Christina listens, lost and alone. But in her solitude there lies a strength, a resilience born from trials at length. And through the brushstrokes of Wyeth's art, we glimpse a soul torn apart, yet in longing there's a quiet grace, a beauty found in solitude's embrace. So let us pause in reverent awe in Christina's world where dreams draw. From the silence of this vast terrain we find solace amidst life's refrain. In the quiet stillness we find our voice amidst the fields where hearts rejoice. And though the world may pass us by, in solitude's silence we learn to fly. What? Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so you can imagine me completely freaking out in my class because this kid had never written poetry to my knowledge. He'd never taken my class before, and he was this was his last semester. He was a senior and about to graduate. That, and the other thing is, he wrote a rhymey poem. I don't normally like rhymey poems, and I loved this poem. Oh my goodness. I loved that he described Wyeth's painting. I don't know. I thought this was really, really neat that he described the world, but then he took a step back and he went ahead and he included the artist. And I thought that was really, really neat. Okay, now I'm moving on to the next one. The next one, it looks weird. Yep, it looks weird. It's called Love Beyond Measure. Also an Andrew Wyeth painting. And this was of his neighbor, an older gentleman. Now, why I have this one, I actually had two girls wrote a poem on the same piece. They did not know each other, and they happened to sit kind of close, not next to each other, but relatively close to my desk, and they turned it in relatively closely at the same time, right? The first one is by Zulma Duran, and the second one is Charlotte Price. And when I read it, or read them both, I I printed them and then I switched it and I handed it to the girls. And they were both kind of in awe, like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing ever. Because I thought it was really interesting that they had similar thoughts. They don't know each other. They've never talked to each other. They're not friends. They're not in the same social circle. I mean, that has changed since then. But I think it's very interesting when somebody, from two different walks of life can look at the same piece of artwork and share sentiments. So this one, it kind of looks like snow. You see a man, I don't know if it's snow or sand, and he's kind of on a hill. He looks like he's sort of buried. I mean, your mind can kind of go all over the place, right? So the painting is called Love Beyond Measure, and Zulma writes, adrift through the thoughtless minds, the soul of the man was created from the flames of hell. Dazed and confused, his body dissolved as each piece went, the naked spirit felt pain. It's like the scene in a movie where the rug he's lying on swallows him up. He's aware of everything that was happening. He waked from surgery and felt like he was opened up and the earth swallowed him, and where his mind in immense and delicate pain, the earth's roots tightened around his arms and legs, his soul spilled and surrounded him, dazed and confused. The dirt filled his mouth, the leaves blinded him, and there was an aching in his heart. The earth was ready for him, and he was ready for the earth. Adrift through the thoughtless minds, he went. Okay, so there goes Jean with her zoomies. Okay, so she is kind of describing somebody that is being swallowed by the earth. Okay, I can kind of see that. Okay, swallowed by the earth. There's some pain, and he's kind of accepting it, and there we go. Okay, same painting by Charlotte Price, and she writes, William was never a kind man. He would spit on babies and kick dogs. William was angry at the world, and nobody knew why. The years went by. William began to show his age. His fiery eyes sank, and the bitter voice became raspy. His time had come, and the children used to say William rose from hell, that he was born of spite, a man made of pure evil, and they prayed for the day that the devil would reclaim his own. Today was the day. William lies on a grassy hill, alone in the world. Nobody will miss him. He didn't fight as he was pulled into the sod. William doesn't belong here. He's ready for the quiet embrace of death. William shed the weight of his sins, draining the color from his skin. His atrocities spread around him like ashes. Ooh, okay. So kind of a little darker, right? A little darker, and he's still being kind of taken into the earth, right? Which I think that's so interesting that you still have two characters, two men being absorbed, or, after death, or being absorbed into the earth. Again, two people didn't know each other, obviously, until this class, and they're looking at the same exact painting. All right, I know we're going to keep on going. All right, the next one is actually the same man. It is the same painter, and it is the same subject. Again, it's his neighbor. This is called The Patriot, and I believe that his neighbor was a German World War I vet. So you can see the painting. It's extremely detailed. He has his uniform, and he has a couple of his medals, and he has a couple ribbons and whatnot. And this is what Jacqueline Giles writes. A prideful uniform, the wave of a flag, the cannon-like sound of fireworks lighting up the sky. Oh, to be a patriot. If eyes are the windows of the soul, then my eyes are more akin to a bunch of bullet holes in a wall, only with tape to cover them, an attempt to stop outsiders looking in. Not even I wish to see what lies inside. Oh, to be a patriot. A change of profession, soldier to actor, still wearing the same uniform. I display my medals and wear the uniform with a smile of pride to distract from my lifeless eyes. Oh, to be a patriot. A medal worn tens of lives, a uniform worth hundreds of souls. A victory is celebratory, but is not a ball game. How much does it cost for you to wave your flag? Oh, to be a patriot. How many lives does it cost? How much blood does it require? How many tears must fall before it ends? It haunts me every night. What is freedom's price? Oh, to be a patriot. Oh my gosh. I love that she has just as many details as this painting. Okay, here's the last Andrew Wyeth painting. This one was a little different. I used it at a different year, and actually this was fun because the person that wrote it, he does not claim to be a writer, and actually he kind of inspired me. I took the class to a local art museum, and we actually took 4 hours. We packed a lunch, and we just kind of cocked the squat in front of various art pieces, and all we did was write. And the kids ended up having a great time. So this picture is a different neighbor, I believe. I don't really know the story of him. It's called The Gentleman. It's really dark. I've had a lot of students mention that the lighting is interesting. It is a black man. I don't know why there's shoes on the desk. That's pretty much all I know. And the young man who wrote it is Christian Henderson. And his poem is... excuse me. Sitting within a cold, dark room with nothing but empty thoughts, he knows he can't escape, so he patiently waits. His thoughts sweep through his head, his hair, his chair, and himself are all he has, forever learning to love the darkness despite its loneliness. Staring at a blank room, he empties the crowded space in his mind. Is this the man who I'm meant to be? He wishes he could return to his childhood, a simpler time, one that he felt free, not constrained to this dark place. This is a man with no friends, no family. Nothing accompanies him in his empty void. His room and himself have been together for far too long. He removed himself from the world as a whole. He wants to get out, but this trapping grasp won't let him. He sits alone all day wondering, is this the man who I'm meant to be? Once lured into safety, he will never escape. The mental trap remains. Why does the darkness comfort him? Yet he wonders now if he can stay this unknown gentleman, forever questioning if the darkness is all he'll ever see. Whew! I love the last line, questioning if the darkness is all he'll ever see. I don't know. I really think that the lines of this poem bring out certain aspects of this artwork. Now, the next piece is different. The next piece is actually a sculpture. It's called The Butcher Boys. It's a sculpture by Jane Alexander. And from what I understand, it was made in 1991 as a response to the state of emergency in South Africa. There's a lot happening there. You can see they're very ashy looking. They're kind of scary looking. It looks like these men, I'm guessing men, they're sitting on a bench. They have no mouths. Their horns are different. Yeah, it's disturbing. The piece that was written is by Finn Miller Garrett, and I will give, there is a warning, there is a trigger warning. The piece that was written is very dark, and it does kind of refrain, or it addresses abuse, and it uses some dark imagery, but I think that it does justice, and it goes along with the sculpture. So this is The Butcher Boys by Finn Miller Garrett. My body is contorted beyond belief. Bending and breaking for your pleasure, you turn me inside out because you want the outside in. You want me to show how much I can stretch before I tear, but I know I've already been put on display. Just so you can get a glimpse of my weakness. I'm so different compared to before. Before you broke my ribs and ate my heart. We were just kids, but you twisted my childhood. So when you broke me, you decided you didn't want to break me anymore. But I still see the marks of the tears, twists, and bends. When I look in the mirror, I don't see myself. I see an unrecognizable child who just wanted to be loved. Whew, it's heavy. It's really heavy. I look at all three of those statues, and the last line really resonates with me. The unrecognizable child who just wants to be loved. I don't know. It sits with you. It sits with you. I've got two more. Nighthawks, it is extremely famous. I mean, there's been so many copies. You know, like there's been one that has like Marilyn Monroe and Humphrey Bogart. I love the emptiness of this painting. I like the dark noir feelings of it. Again, a student that I had last year, Anthony Holguin, wrote a poem I thought went really well with this. It's also called Nighthawks. It is sleep, a tireless struggle. Some people have no issue. Just shut your eyes. Prepare to start another. Others have an intense battle. They slave away all night, thinking, fidgeting, tossing, and turning, and they wonder about all of their faults. What could I have done? What did I say? Why did I not prepare? Some people run from these thoughts. They drive, or they eat, or they go somewhere to distract themselves. People see them and they think nothing of it. Those people are doing the same thing after all, running from thoughts with bloodshot eyes and piercing exhaustion. But as soon as they hit the bed, the thoughts come back and they think of deep, horrible things. They cry internally as they try and find out why. Why am I the way I am? Why did I not do better? That's why they say nothing when they see each other. One of them. They're running in the same thoughts in their car or in a bar. They know that they're all just nighthawks without the shared word or thought. I know I'm having the same exact reaction, but I'm like, doesn't that just just explains the space between those people? Even the person behind the counter, it just, I don't know. I think it just really describes the pause between helping somebody. Let me get your coffee, sir. It just seems so impersonal. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. I don't know. If you can't tell, I am super proud of my writers. If I could tell anybody about the world, my writers are amazing, and I tell them every day I am going to bend the heck of them. I am never going to break them, but I'm going to bend them. Please join in, because you too can change the world with your words. Let me just, oh my gosh, this is so big. My final one is probably one of my favorite oh my gosh, I just lost it. Graffiti artist, which is Banksy. And if you know anything about Banksy, one, we don't really know who he is. I love that his work is political, and I love that he's so snarky, right? Like there's this total, I don't know, there's things in the news about like somebody will pay $1.2 gajillion for something at some expensive, auction house, and then soon as somebody pays it, then it self-destructs. I just think that's, I don't know, I love his messages. So the Rage Flower Thrower, I love the way that it looks, because it looks like a picture of a person who is throwing like a bomb, a Molotov cocktail, right? And instead, he's throwing a bouquet of flowers. I love the difference of the conflict, right? And the short poem that goes with it is one of a senior student named Nash Green, and we talked about love bombing. And if you don't know what love bombing is, love bombing definitely is, you can see it with narcissists, you can see it from scammers, you can see it from all sorts of people, that when they want something from you, they are going to shower you with attention so they can manipulate you at other times, right? So he started looking at love bombing when he saw this picture. So Nash writes, love bomb. Is it too much to ask? All I want is you. I love you more than anyone does. Is it too much to ask? Love me back. I'll tell you 1,000,000 times I love you. Just love me. Even half as much as I do. I'll always do right by you. All I want is you. Is it too much to ask? Oh, I just get goosebumps every single time. Every single time. So, wow, I'm just geeking out on all of this. Here is my challenge to you. I am going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to give you 5. Now, you don't have to write 5 pieces, but I'm going to give you 5 pieces of art that hopefully will inspire you. So I'm pretty sure I got this off of a movie. I don't know. I don't even know where I got it. There's a quote. I'm probably paraphrasing. And it's like, all art is political and it makes a statement. Otherwise, it would just be decoration. And I really like that quote. I want to say it has to do with a play. I don't know. I'm going to have to do some digging. So I think about that, and maybe I look at artwork and I want it to make a reaction. Maybe it doesn't have to have a political statement, but maybe you need to have a reaction. Maybe it works for you. Maybe you don't understand the abstract, I don't know, the random blue square or the Andy Warhol Campbell soup can. I don't know. But if it makes you happy, I think that's a reaction. If it gets you angry, I think that's a reaction. If it just makes you just puzzle and you're just like, huh? I don't know. Maybe that's a reaction. So when you're writing, I think you're also you're striving for a reaction. So I have 5 prompts for you. The first one, I'm probably going to destroy his name, and I'm very, very sorry. It's actually a sculpture. Is it Chuli? That's all I'm going to say. Chuli. We'll just say Chuli. He is a famous glassblower. If you go to the local Wichita Art Museum, by the way, it is free on Saturdays. This guy, his glass blowing is amazing. The picture that I have on the screen right now is one of the pieces that's hung up in the main foyer. But they also have a section, when you walk in, you can go up the stairs, you have to take your shoes off, and you can walk across this glass area, and everything is all oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. So I don't even know what this looks like. Maybe like a really trippy DNA or a weird, I don't even know, like an alien. It's colorful and it has squiggles, and I don't know. I think of like Horton Hears a Who. I think of maybe it can be a metaphor for something. So yes, go to the art museum, any art museum actually, and check out a sculpture. So that is my first one. My second one is a Pulitzer Prize winning, don't ask me the year, a Pulitzer Prize winning photo by Kevin Carter. It's called The Girl and the Vulture. And it is tragic, and it definitely gets a reaction. So much so, I believe the photographer committed suicide after winning the Pulitzer because people gave him such flack for it. It is rough. You can see a young girl. I know you can't probably tell that she is a girl. She is emaciated. She is starving, and you have a vulture behind her. That tells a story right there. I will just let you just let that, I don't know, linger. Another one, I'm going to go back to Banksy. It looks like a little girl holding a balloon, and it reads "No future." Maybe he's saying something. I don't know. The next one, it's a sculpture also. It's called Melancholy. I think, don't quote me on this, I think it has something to do with grieving. I I don't know. I looked at it and I just thought it was really interesting that you have this hollowness there. I think that you could either describe that feeling, or maybe you could have the backstory, or maybe you could, I don't know. I just thought this was really interesting. And then my final one, if you've never been to the Chicago Art Institute, this has been on my bucket list since I was, oh my gosh, probably 16, 17. And I'm really happy that I went there years ago. I love Jackson Pollock. And I don't understand Jackson Pollock. I never thought I was going to be emotionally moved by a Jackson Pollock. I don't know, maybe it was because he just chain smoked and just went crazy. But the first time I ever saw a Jackson Pollock painting, my chest got tight and I skipped a beat. I was just, wow. And as weird as it is, I felt like I saw movement. I could see movement on a canvas, if that makes any sense. And so I have the painting Convergence by Jackson Pollock. I'm not saying that you have to understand it, or even like it for that matter, but that is something that I have for you. I don't know, sometimes I think that's how my brain works. When I look at this painting, sometimes I focus on certain colors, sometimes I see white, sometimes I focus on the red, sometimes I focus on the void. So that is what I have for you. My call to action for you is to choose one. Actually, you could choose any of the pieces of art that I have presented today. Write. I would focus on poetry, but you can write anything. I'm not going to tell you not to write, but write. Share your work. Show your friends, show your family, show me. Post your work in the comments. You can go on our website. You can actually even email me if you would like. You can email me at submissions@faythepublishing.org. I would love to read your work. I think the artists, I think it's one of the bravest thing to share. It takes so much courage to create something. It takes a larger amount of courage to share it. You see what I'm saying? Share your work. I would love to have other people know how much their work has affected others. So, I'm Kynda Faythe with the Cuppa Creativity in the Literary Lounge, the place where writing doesn't have to suck. I really look forward to reading your work. Until next time.